The noon sun shone hot over Lagos, shedding gold heat onto cracked sidewalks and crowded roads. The air was filled with the smell of corn roasted by street vendors, market women's cries announcing prices, and the faraway hum of Akadas dodging traffic. If you're new, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and don't forget to share it with your family and friends. Also, let us know where you're watching from. Somewhere in the midst of it, Zainab Kunde sat with her knees up against her chest, her dusty bare feet hugging the ground after hours of roaming. Only 12 years old, Zainab had lived a life full of years beyond her youthful ones. Her mother had long been eaten up by the demons in her head, once a happy, smiling woman, now nothing more than a shadow of what she used to be. There was no father, no stable home for longer than an evening, and no one to struggle for her future. For the brief space of 2 years, Zainab had experienced the warmth of a classroom. She could still recall the weight of chalk in her fingers, the aroma of newly sharpened pencils, and the rise of pride in her heart every time the teacher said her name during roll call. Those weeks had been a present, funded by a benevolent woman she did not know well, a woman who disappeared one afternoon without a word, leaving Zainab's school uniform draped over a corner like a memory that she could no longer reach. After that, her reality contracted to the streets. She mastered the skill of interpreting people's faces, who would give her a coin, who would send her packing, who she had to steer clear of. She discovered the little-used alleys that the police infrequently visited, and the street stalls that discarded fruit not good enough for sale. Nights were the worst, sleeping with her eyes open, shivering under the open sky even when the temperature was pleasant. It was on one of those long, exhausting afternoons that Zainab first laid eyes on him. A tall figure in a plain white shirt and frayed brown trousers halted before her. He had in his hand a little leather Bible, and his tired but kind eyes regarded her with a combination of concern and curiosity. "Hello, little one," he said gently. "What is your name?" Zainab gazed at him, not knowing whether it was safe to speak. "I'm Zainab," she said softly. "And your family, where are they?" She paused and then replied, "It's my mother and me. But she doesn't know me sometimes." The man nodded slowly, as if her words had confirmed something that he had already suspected. "I am Pastor Adwale," he said softly. "I care for children who have nowhere to go. May I bring you some food?" Zainab did not respond, but she did not flee either. He came back in the evening with warm bread fresh from the bakery, and a tiny plastic bag full of fried plantains. She ate hastily, the food vanishing before she had even time to say thank you. In the coming weeks, Pastor Adwale visited frequently. Every time he brought something new, sometimes food, sometimes a nice dress, once even a pair of matching sandals. But above the presents he brought dialogue. He talked to her about her aspirations, her color preferences, the things she most wanted to have around. Zainab remained wary nonetheless. People disappeared, people abandoned. One night, as the sun bleeds red and gold into the horizon, he spoke to her, saying, "Zainab, you can't remain here forever. Let me take you to somewhere you will be safe, where you can resume school again." Her heart was racing. What if it was a trick? What if he brings her somewhere worse? Yet inwardly, another voice would tell her, "This could be your chance." The following morning, she trailed after him. They strolled down narrow streets to a little compound with blue, painted walls peeling off and laughter pouring from within. The instant they went through the gate, a surge of comfort enveloped her, not of climate, but of seeing children at play, rice and stew from the kitchen wafting into her nostrils, and the buzz of conversation that sounded safe, "This is your new home," said Pastor Adwael. For days, Zainab hardly said a word. She observed the other children, all dressed in colorful shirts and bare feet, running with untamed happiness. Gradually, she joined them. She learned the routine morning prayers, breakfast, school lessons, chores, and bedtime stories. At first, she found it hard to trust it. She had been so hungry that she had been hiding bread rolls under her bed, fearing they might finish them off. She slept with her shoes next to her pillow every night, prepared to flee in case things got worse. But when weeks turned into months, her defenses around her heart started to crumble. Her most memorable moments were in the intimate classroom where she practiced tracing letters with her finger, relearning to read. The craving for knowledge came back in no time stronger than ever. She questioned, jotted down notes, and dreamed again. Nevertheless, the past persisted. Some nights, Zainab woke in the dark, convinced she could hear her mother's voice. Other nights, she would sit at the window and wonder if her mother stood outside somewhere, shivering and alone. On a rainy night, Pastor Adwael discovered her there, her tiny face against the glass. "Do you miss her?" he asked. Zainab nodded. Every day, he placed a soft hand on her shoulder. "One day, when the time is right, we will locate her. But until then, you need to become strong, so strong that when she sees you once more, she will recognize you can be tall." Years later, Zainab would think back and understand that was the day things altered. She was no longer merely holding on. She was creating a future, and although life had taken a great deal of things from her, Zainab never forgot the lesson she learned on Lagos streets. In even the darkest parts of the world, one act of mercy can ignite a flame that nothing, hunger, loss, fear, can ever extinguish.